Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. With Apple's release of plenty of iPads, I thought now would be the perfect time to cover my favorite apps that I've been using on my iPad Pro. I'm a big fan of iPads in general. Being able to use a larger touchscreen is so convenient, as well as having their new Apple Pencil. There's just something different and unique about using a tablet versus, a keyboard and a mouse, or even just your phone. So being able to use a larger screen and the Apple Pencil honestly makes using some apps a completely different experience on an iPad. Now, I won't cover every single app on my iPad because I usually just keep the ones that are pre-installed by Apple because I don't want to cover things that you're already going to have. So with that said, I'm really only going to be focusing on apps that I thoroughly enjoy and highly recommend for you guys. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into my favorite apps that I've been using on my iPad. Now, first up on our list is one that I'm sure you've heard about, the one and only Procreate. This app is absolutely incredible. It's designed for digital painting, drawing, sketching, you name it, anything creative, it's on there. And this app only costs $10. Now, you might be wondering, wait, only costs $10? Yes. In my opinion, this is so good. I am so shocked that it doesn't cost more money because of how powerful it is. You can draw, sketch, paint, you can even animate in this app. I think it's so funny how price sensitive we become when things are an app. Like if a game costs $1, we're like, oof, that's too much, I can't pay that. But no joke, this app is absolutely incredible. 1000% recommend. Now, I guess you could say that I am somewhat of an artist and I do like to dabble in digital art. Now, hold on. I'm sure there are a lot of you out there who are like, oh, I'm not an artist. I'm not the artistic type. I can't draw a stick figure. Even if you don't consider yourself much of an artist, I still highly recommend this app. It's so great to just doodle on, sketch on, and even take notes if you really want to. All of the gestures and shortcuts baked into this app make it a delight to use. It is so intuitive and so smart to use. I got so used to how smart Procreate is that I often find myself trying to use these same shortcuts and gestures in other apps. It's a great app to use to dip your toes into art, even if you don't consider yourself a very creative person. Next up on our list is Notability. Notability is the perfect note-taking app. There's not a huge list of shortcuts to learn, which is actually kind of a good thing here, because again, there is no learning curve and you can get right into note-taking right away. This app isn't perfect, but I think it's really good for the price. This will run you about $5, and it's a very safe bet as far as note-taking apps go. So why am I recommending this app over other note-taking apps? There's one particular feature that I think is absolutely incredible, and that is the ability to record audio. After you hit record, the audio will be baked into the notes that you're taking. And here's what I mean. Every mark that you make becomes a timestamp of that particular audio. Records my voice. Voice. Look how cool. Another incredible feature of the app is its ability to recognize your handwriting. Now, you do have the option of keeping it as it is, or you can switch it over to readable, typable text. Either way, whatever you write is searchable within the app. That's so cool, technology. Anyway, like I mentioned, this is the perfect app for any type of note-taking. I see this being really, really useful for students, and I actually use this quite a bit during my last year of college. Another app that is incredible to use is Adobe Lightroom. Now, as some of you know, I am a videographer and photographer, so naturally I would have this app, but even if you're not paying for the Adobe Creative Cloud, you can get Lightroom for free. Now, some features are locked off, but they are pretty niche, so I don't think you'd really be using them anyway, especially if you don't consider yourself a content creator. The Lightroom app is almost a perfect mirror of its desktop counterpart. You can basically do the exact same thing between both of them. I don't do a lot of my editing on an iPad, but when I do, there are a lot of things that I actually prefer on this rather than on a laptop. It's kind of hard to make these really small, technical, minute adjustments with the trackpad, but having the Apple Pencil, it makes it really easy to make those really small, tiny slider adjustments. I'm sure a lot of you already have your own flow of how you like to edit pictures. You may have apps that you prefer, but I still highly recommend Lightroom as it is pro-oriented. So you get a lot of tools and sliders that you don't really see in a lot of other apps, and it's free, so it doesn't hurt to have. Now, naturally, the next app I'm going to recommend is Photoshop. Very recently, Adobe released a full-fledged version of Photoshop. No sandbagging, no handicaps, all the bells and whistles that Photoshop has to offer, but on an iPad. iPad. I'm so glad they made this move because Photoshop can do so much more than just taking out a zit or something like that. In fact, a lot of digital artists use Photoshop instead of other apps. And again, if you are paying for some sort of Adobe Creative Cloud subscription, it'll work hand in hand with your other Adobe apps. So the next set of apps that I'm going to recommend are kind of boring, but super helpful when you have it on your iPad. And that is Google Docs, Google Sheets, and Google Slides. I found myself using these apps so much, especially when I was in school. But again, kind of boring, but they're really great to have because they integrate so well with all of your other devices. And again, you'll find that just having a larger screen really changes the experience of using an app. When you go from using a phone to an iPad, there could be apps that you didn't really think much about, but are so much better on an iPad. Well, that's it for my recommendations on apps that you definitely need to have on your iPad. If you have any recommendations for me or for anyone viewing, please drop them below. If this video helped you out in any way, go ahead and leave a like. Do not forget to subscribe for weekly content just like this, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.